Friends, here we are. This is 21 days of countdown. Countdown in 21 days to the 12th United States Spiritist Symposium. Why is this such an important event? Why? Well, there are thousands of reasons. First, as Emmanuel says, when there is a good idea, it doesn't come from us. It comes from God. All the good that there is in this universe comes from God. Nothing comes from us. So here we have it for you, the 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium. What is the symposium? It's the national Spiritist event of the United States of America. Yes, and all in English. I think in 10 years or 20 years or 100 years, sometime in the future, when people rewind the tape and see that we're emphasizing it in English, they're going to ask, why is she emphasizing the fact that it is in English? Well, because unfortunately, though we are in 2018, there are many meetings that are still not in English. And it's sad. It's sad because the United States is the main language is English, though they never made it official, and we need it to be in English, not only because of the incarnates, but also because of the majority, the discarnates. The discarnates in this country certainly majority of them speak English. That's no doubt about it. And according to the teachings of Spiritism, and the main reference I'm going to give to you is in the book Evolution into Worlds by André Luiz, though it's it's in English but not published, but it's in Portuguese. You can verify. André Luiz is asked this very question about whether or not discarnate spirits understand any and all and every language. They don't, unless they are evolved. So the spirits who need the most, they don't understand another language but their language. So we need to speak it in English if we want to help them out. Just to have a feeling, listen to any spiritual program in any other language, especially a language you don't understand, and then you know what we're talking about. Maybe beautiful, but if I don't understand, as Paul of Tarsus says, if it's not intelligible, it's to no use. So it's beyond vibrations. Spiritism hasn't come to give us vibrations. It came to change our consciences. The consciousness, and it's about freeing ourselves from our ignorance, and we cannot do it by, it doesn't happen through osmosis. It has to happen through our own will, stepping forward. So this 12th U.S. Spiritist Symposium is different. Why? Because it's the first one that happens in the capital of the United States of America. Has been 12 years. It started in Baltimore, and it traveled to different states, different cities, from East Coast to the West Coast, north and east of the country. And now finally completing a cycle of 12 events, 12 years in the capital of the United States of America. Funny enough, this is the first national Spiritist event with united forces by several Spiritist centers in the United States to happen in the capital of the United States of America, Washington, D.C. And why? Because the higher spirits want it to be that way. And we just know it's perfect time. Perfect timing because more than ever we need to gather together and pray and help change the consciousness in the very city. So what happens on the behind the scenes of an event like this? Many people think it's only about what we're seeing in the incarnate level. And if you are Spiritist and you have been studying, you know it's beyond it. So tonight we have two friends here with us. Leo Vieira, who is he's from the Spirit side of Baltimore. He has participated since day one in Baltimore in 2007. And he's going to be one of the masters of ceremony, the MCs, together with Leticia Klausner. He's going to be facilitating the sessions and the dynamics of this event. And then also Carol Correa-Smith, who is from the Spirit side of Virginia. She's going to be participating in a workshop on Spiritist education for children and youth, together with Alba Morales, Lígia Carvalho, and Bernadette Leal. Bernadette Leal from California. The United States Spiritist Federation has been coordinating the efforts together with a local committee of Virginia and Maryland and DC, as well as several Spiritist centers sponsoring this event to make it happen. So here we have our dear friend, Leo Vieira. Hi, Leo. How are you?
Hello and good evening, good day for everyone, whoever is touching bases with us right now.
Yay.
It's good to be here talking about this beautiful event that is ahead of us and really hopefully set the ground up for us to meet again on this 12th beautiful event, which is the Symposium, the yearly event that we have. So
Yes.
Welcome everyone and glad to be here with everyone.
So Leo, do you remember the first one?
The first one. Many questions, right? As we still have today, and I think this is actually the theme for this event too. There were too many questions, several questions. Back then, we didn't have as many books in English. Back then, we did not have many friends of the English-speaking side of the world along with us, and I think is more than ever we need to be together in this event in our nation's capital to share this beautiful science. Our let's say the good things that we have done thus far with Spiritism and the books, right, and celebrate one another.
Exactly. And Leo, how much progress, huh? How much progress since the first one, as you said, the progress as a nation in Spiritism. We can tell after 12 years that this English-speaking movement in Spiritism in the United States has grown so much, so many speakers, so many people who have been sharing this teaching, so many books and more centers in the English-speaking language. So, and more people really coming along and partaking on this, not only one nationality, but several nationalities, right?
That is correct. Just to think, Vanessa, that in 12 years, we can easily tune in and just log in anywhere. And we have millions of thousands and thousands of programs, cardiac radio. We have YouTube channels that we have several works, books online, and many things, many works, workshops, you name it. So I think it's time to be in Washington and truly share this work with one another. I think that will be a way for us to truly exemplify and put this forth with everyone.
Exactly, Leo. So, we also have here with us Carol Correa, and I want her to share a few thoughts, right, Carol? You have been at the symposium for a few.
Yes, twice.
Twice, right?
Twice before this year, yes. And it's really transformative to see so many voices and presences coming together as if we were one family, speaking one language for one sole purpose, which is to share the beautiful message of the Christ with everyone around us. And it's beautiful to see the English-speaking audience taking advantage of the love of the Christ in their language. It's beautiful to see their souls being nurtured as well. And it's beautiful to see, for example, efforts like cardiac radio which is on air 24 hours, 7 days a week, also in English, the Spiritist magazine. So we see many seeds that the Christ has planted in these beautiful lands sprouting, and they're growing and bearing fruits, and it's a beautiful fruit that we have to enjoy having a symposium right here on our capital.
And, friends, we want to, oops, okay, 1 second. We want to share with you that if some people ask us, why is this a big deal? Now I'm going to return the question. Why is this not a big deal? Why? Why not? Why not making it a big deal if it's the work of the good? It's funny because I was telling Karen Mark today, if I make a silly video, imagine yourself just saying silly things. It's going to go viral. Millions of people. But if you talk about good things, people are like, oh, but the work of the good shall be valued. I know we're not there yet. Right, Carol?
Right.
So for us, it's a big deal. It's a big deal because we're talking about the good conquering grounds. And we're talking about the capital of the world. Whether we like it or not, the United States of America is a big part of the brain of the world. And today we celebrate also two things, right, Karen Mark? We celebrate this the discarnation of Allan Kardec, which happened on March 31st, 1869, 21 years after the first coordinated, orchestrated spirit phenomena that happened in Hydesville, upstate New York, through the Fox sisters, which happened on March 31st, 1848. If you think it's a coincidence, there's no coincidence in this world. And we want to share with you that there is no coincidence also that in 45 minutes we're going to celebrate. And I'm going to show this to you. I have to. Okay? I have to show something with you. Magazine, which has everything to do with all that we're talking about. And as you're seeing this is the 10th year in a row that we are publishing the Spiritist magazine in English. On April 1st, 2018, tomorrow, in 45 minutes, we're going to celebrate the fact that we have here with us the Spiritist magazine. Yes. And we share this with you because no matter if people say, oh, but I cannot buy. You can buy it. Just go to spiritistmagazine.org and you can buy the magazine and send them to your house. We no longer have subscriptions. Well, but the magazine exists. It exists, has always existed. There is an app. You can and should buy the app. Not buy, you should just download the app. Just go to the website, spiritistmagazine.org. This is the latest issue where we're also celebrating 150 years of the book Genesis. And we're also celebrating the fact that there are new discoveries happening for us. Now, talking back about the symposium here, okay? The symposium is going to happen as a way for us to go back to this new understanding, okay? New understanding about life. As Leo said, back in 2007, in the first symposium, many people had many questions. And today, 12 years later, we have answers. Answers to these many questions. So there will be speakers from throughout the United States that will come from 9 a.m. to 6:15 p.m. to share with you in a beautiful location. We found a beautiful location for you, very modern, very near the convention center, comfortable in the beautiful city of Washington, D.C., in this beautiful April. We were just there today in Washington, D.C., and the weather is beautiful, and the flowers are blooming in the trees. And I tell you, the city is gorgeous, and it's very invitational. But we need you there. We need you there because more than just coming for yourself, we're going to ask you a big, big, big favor. Join us. Not for us, not because we need crowds, but we need the togetherness to pray. Think about. Now we want to call Leo and also our dear Carol here with us to brainstorm. We always talking about the behind the scenes of a Spiritist Center. But what happens in a Spiritist event of this magnitude when there is nothing equal in the Spiritist movement around the world, not even in Brazil? You can investigate, and if you find it, you tell me. But there's nothing. In this country, the United States of America, our Spiritist centers and federations gather together. They sponsor financially and human resources wise. It's a beautiful equality movement. We come together and we join forces under the umbrella of the United States Spiritist Federation to pray together, to create visualizations of peace, to share beautiful studies, deep studies on the Spiritist teachings, because this is a science. There is a beautiful exchange. This is in the material plane. We have activities for children and youth, because many events in Brazil, for example, as a reference, they are beautiful, but they are only for adults. Some of them may do for children, but usually it's not the Spiritist centers that gather together nationally to make up for this beautiful national event. In the United States, we have it. So it's very unique. Very unique. So what happens potentially, let's brainstorm, Leo and Carol, what happens on the behind the scenes of this event? What may happen, Leo? You want to start it?
Well, Vanessa, it depends. It's on both sides of life. Let's just take one at a time. I think in the, for sure, as you already mentioned, in the physical plane, we have this commotion, this good connection of people, not in one Spiritist center, but many Spiritist centers, separating tasks, delegating things to be done, the worries about certain types of work. One of the things that I would like to add in this aspect of work as well is that in the past we did not have the work that we're having right now is perhaps to talk to people who are in need as well, to offer ourselves to talk to people, to see if they have any issue, to come and talk to us, and perhaps directing them to a location where they can go to if they're coming from another state or not, to give them references, to the go-to keys in order for them to help themselves in finding not a cure, but some kind of help with the Spiritist science. And obviously, if this happens in the physical realm, for sure, the higher minds, the higher spirits who are guiding us, they are doing the same, much more than we think, much more than we are, based on their understanding of life. So I think there is a huge disposition of effort, work, and love that is being shared now than before, obviously during the event. And I'm quite sure that this will continue as well for the next event, right? After we go through it, to put forth more work. And I think the last thing that I would like to share as we're talking about this is that it's one more emphasis to really understand and make sure that we have in our hearts the understanding that we have the work, the literature that we need right now to understand the science and really practice and really share with others, our family members, perhaps who never came in contact with, a friend. You said come, and I was thinking as well, come and bring a friend, right? Bring someone who you love to perhaps, look, listen to this. It may not be everything that you want to hear right now, but it may be something enlightening. It may be one of the answers for your questions that you have, one of the talks, one of the services that we will have. So there's many things that we can share, and there's a lot of work to be done, a lot of service to give and to receive as well.
Exactly. And now we have our Carol. You want to share, Carol?
Sure. In the opening of the book, Paul and Stephen, Emmanuel says to us that Jesus personally calls each and every one of us to his harvest. So I am certain that much before we started our work on the material realm, our loving mentors have been calling on us to partake on this journey. And the fact that we are sharing what we know and willing to learn more in the English language allows us to multiply the resources that the Christ himself is entrusting to us. Like in the parable of the talents. If we have one little talent, it is our responsibility to multiply it. So the question that I leave for myself and for everyone out there is, do we realize that the Christ himself is counting on us to multiply the wisdom and the joys of his love? And that Spiritism as a science, as a philosophy, and as a moral and ethical code equips us to do that. So we are partaking on our responsibility before the Master. He is the one saying, come and join me. So if we say yes, we are saying yes to him, because the invitation doesn't come from Carol or from Leo or from Vanessa Anceloni. The invitation comes from the Master. And it is not by chance that we are placed in the United States of America. The United States of America is the brain of the world. And it is the responsibility of the brain to nourish the rest of the body. So are we doing our part? And the symposium is an opportunity for us to faithfully and lovingly fulfill the task of passing Jesus' message forward. So he himself is counting on us. And the invitation is most definitely coming from him. As Emmanuel has said, Christ personally and kindly invites each and every one of us. So I visualize the Christ himself with open arms, with his beautiful, loving smile, saying kindly to each and every one of us, I love you. You are a worker in my harvest. Come join me. I'm counting on you.
Thank you, Carol. So here we have it, my friends. It's not by chance that we're kickstarting this on March 31st, the day we are celebrating the glorious, discarnation of Allan Kardec, the 170 years of the beginning of these orchestrated events in the world through the Four Sisters. And we are right around the corner of Easter. And it's the day we reflect on the Christ within ourselves. Do you think Allan Kardec would come to the symposium if he were incarnated? I don't think he would miss it. Do you think Chico Xavier would come? Do you think if Divaldo Franco were living in the United States of America, would he come? I have no doubt. So why don't you come? Why? Why do you think? What kinds of spirits do you think? And I'll share with you without shame. Why? Because Kardec shared this. And think about it, you don't have to believe. I remember before the first symposium, when we received a message from the higher spirits coordinating the efforts of the SSB, connected to the mentor Ben Franklin, and saying we need to do it. A meeting solely in English for this country. We needed to have cultural identification. And I remember every time I've been at a symposium, irrespective of the city, irrespective of anything, always, without failing, and I have other mediums who have said they've seen similar things. Spirits of the highest order connected to this nation, from Abraham Lincoln, and you can see one of the covers of the Spiritist magazine if you go to spiritistmagazine.org, where there are women. It's a drawing, beautiful drawing by Marcos Falcão in Florida, because it was a vision of all these women in America, Clara Barton, many others. Their names just escaped my mind right now. Eleanor Roosevelt, and many others just escaped my mind. But coordinating these beautiful efforts, not only in the Spiritist movement, but also in the Spiritist movement, to boost the family values, to boost the Spiritist movement, to reach out to people. Why would they come to this meeting? And the question is, why not? If you think high spirits would only come, I've never read in any of the books that the good spirits only show up when there are specific mediums or specific people. That's not what they say. If you read in the medium's book, question and answer, 341, it's not a question, it's actually a statement. Kardec says, medium's book, item 341, conditions to attract good spirits. And they say, be on the same page, perfect commonality of feelings and sentiments. If you think one medium defines it all, I don't think so. One speaker, I don't think so. And in this one, no matter if we have differences, it's about a unity. Everybody who is there, they don't have their tickets paid to be a speaker, to be a volunteer. Each and every volunteer not only has to do the work, but they pay their entrance, which is only $30. And yet, they need to partake because that's the way they are also contributing to the making of the event. There's a beautiful orchestrated movement on the behind the scenes that is facilitated by the United States Spiritist Federation. And the sponsors are several Spiritist centers. So I don't have a doubt that these high order spirits care for these moments. And I agree with Leo. If we do even better, oh man, miracles can happen. Right, Leo?
That is correct.
Right?
Yes. But Vanessa, just a quick thing that I would like to say as well, which I like to discuss with people, that some people, they come to me and they say, this is just an objection that I hear every now and then. And I think it's nice to clear some objections as far as, an event like this. Much work is being placed, and there will still be much work to be done until the day and on the day. But some people say, oh, it's a full day, it's a lot of hours, this and this and that. Well, here's the thing. Break down into sections, okay? Go to the invitation, and you posted right there as you were speaking. Go through the talks, go through the round tables. Pick a topic that you want to hear, that interests you the most, and kind of go through. And perhaps as you go through it, you think that, oh, this may not do any service to me. But all the talks, all the speakers, the round table, the work with the children, everything is such an amazing work that it really begs us to really participate and be there. Heather, for example, talking about Heather Fonseca, talking about promoting human equality. Who doesn't need that today, right? talking about one of the roundtables, accepting life unconditionally. Just amazing things, amazing topics like this. It really, really, really puts us in a position to participate and be there, bring our family members, bring our friends, and again, it's just I have no words to describe the excitement, the joy of this celebration, celebration with work and with the courage to put forth this science as Carol reminded us earlier today.
Exactly. And, I have here with me the book Living Spring. And there is a chapter titled 121. We also want to use these 21 days of countdown and wrap up, because I know it's late, it's 11:30 now in the East Coast, but we want to wrap up by sending prayers and vibrations so we can operate well during that day. I will never forget the work of the spirits that happen on the behind the scenes. I remember the first one in Baltimore, but not only, everyone. The spirits, they post flyers in the streets of the city where the symposium is going to happen. They call for spirit doctors, nurses, and therapists. They create spiritual scenarios in which they are going to work like a hospital setting, a fraternal counseling setting, to help the spirits who are wandering, don't know what's happening in their lives, who feel they are wounded, they are still suffering. And it's beautiful. It counts on our vibrations. So it's not only about us, the incarnates. It's also about this rescue work in the spiritual realm. And it really works. So here, this message, I'm just going to get 3 parts of this message. Let us seek the light. It's a quote. Emmanuel begins by quoting Paul in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. All scripture inspired by God is useful for instruction in righteousness. Emmanuel then says, seek an idea according to its value. Renewing and edifying ideas arise in the same way. Okay? Why should we expect them to be approved by our family members or personal friends in order for them to produce a wholesome effect within us and around? Every consoling and instructive page is a gift from heaven. Let us then seek the light, wherever it may be, and the darkness will never reach us. So if you want to seek the light on April 21st, I vouch for this. If you come to the symposium, there won't be darkness. Not for you at that time. I assure you that, because that's what Emmanuel is saying. If you seek the light, there won't be darkness. And seek the light within. The enlightening answers to our questions will be given there. There's a lot of friendship, a lot of exchange. It's a national effort to bring light where there is not light yet. And you can join forces. If you want to work also with Cardiac Radio, Cardiac Radio is going to have a booth. And we need your help, okay? There's a lot of work to be done and covered by Cardiac Radio. Just write us a line at cardiacradio@gmail.com. And for the second year in a row, we can have a teamwork effort there, really operating, not only to broadcast it live, but also do a lot of work on the behind the scenes. Leo, I would like to ask for your last remarks before we wrap up with a prayer.
Sure. The only thing I would like to say is that we have these days before the event, 21 plus days there now in our hands, right here in our hands. And it's really remind ourselves of this opportunity that we have and remind others as well what we we have here in front of us. It's a great opportunity to get to know Spiritism, to get to know other people who actually are working hard with Spiritism to help others, to enlighten themselves and others with service and much work. So this is what I would like to leave with you and invite everyone to this beautiful event and be part of this as well as we are praying, as we are preparing ourselves before the event, because we also need the help. The workers need the help, and we need the encouragement from everyone else. So I think this is the final moment for me, and obviously many more days that we will be participating and speaking here together until the event.
Thank you, Leo. We look forward to seeing you there. We look forward to being with you and other friends at that event. And thank you so much for being here. Now I'd like to ask Carol to finalize it for us, Carol, with a prayer. A prayer. We ask you, friends, to join forces with us. We are thanking very much our dear Dulce. Before we say the prayer, she's reminding us of a beautiful moment that happened in 2008. 2008, this moment happened in which we got Dr. Cesar Pérez de Carvalho speaking in English in the name of the International Spiritist Council. And we'll never forget the beautiful consideration by them. And we thank everyone who is here present and joining forces. Friends, if you haven't bought your ticket, do it. Our dear Sergio Santos from the Federation has just put a link right here in our Facebook. So you can click there. And it's so symbolic. And the good news is, after the symposium, for 10 days in a row, our Spiritist Society of Virginia, which is right around the corner, is going to be open every day with sessions every day, right, Carol? In consideration to the people who are attending. We have people coming from out of the country as well, and you're welcome to join us as well. So, Carol, we pass the word to you so you can lead us into a prayer for this moment.
Let us now then join hearts with the efforts of all the spirit mentors who are already working day in and day out to help us materialize this national reunion of souls that are committed to the United States and to the world. Let us visualize a loving heart, the heart of the Christ Himself, shining light onto the capital of the United States, renewing its vibrations, renewing its currents of love and fraternity, recalling the presence of the loving founding fathers and mothers who have created this country in the name of the Christ, for it to embody the ideals of freedom, equality, and fraternity. Let us visualize this loving heart uniting each and every one of us to the loving masters, to the founding fathers, to the loving mentors, forming one beautiful embrace of light. And let us visualize the location of the symposium being enveloped in this loving embrace. Let us visualize everyone who is being invited to partake in this banquet of love, life, light, and fraternity, being embraced in this current of love. Let us visualize the discarnate spirits also being enveloped in this current. And let us visualize ourselves coming together, open to learning, loving, and serving renewing ourselves and finding answers to our daily questions by opening our hearts to the true teachings that can free us now and always from the chains of the past. Let us value this beautiful blessing and accept the invitation of the Master to work in his harvest in the beautiful United States of America. Let everyone who will come and join us feel this embrace of love and light. So be it.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you also, Leo, for being with us. We look forward to giving you a hug in person, Leo, and friends. Okay, friends? So join forces with us. We'll be here tomorrow, God willing, for more, a conversation, and also a prayer, friends. Thank you, Leo. Thank you,
Thank
Carol.
you. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.